Hey everyone, today I'm going to be making some macarons. I found a recipe for Robin Egg Macarons. You know, it's the only thing I have to buy almond flour for in my household. I may have to try to find different recipes with it because I don't know what else to use almond flour for. I know you can exchange it for other things, but I see almond flour, I think macarons. I have a recipe. I printed it off because I have to have it printed off in order to cook because I need to be able to look at it. It's going to make 24, and I don't have the blue they wanted. This is what I have. They wanted sky blue. I don't have sky blue, but when I think of robin eggs, I think of more of a teal color anyway, so I'm going to use my teal. And then I had chocolate ganache, and I bought fancy brushes to make the little speckles on top like you're supposed to in the recipe. And so I'm going to get started because it doesn't take as long to make the macaron, the dough, whatever you want to call it, but you have to let them sit for an hour to have the tops dry out before you can cook them. And then make the filling and fill them, so it's actually a longer process. It's just not as intense, except for I do get to break out my mixer. I don't get to use it very often. Hopefully it'll be fine on my counter over here. It's just gonna have to do everything else and then move my mixer over because it's gonna take my entire counter space. But it's almost Easter, and I'm willing spring here, hoping the weather holds out for Easter. I'm going to be making a little treat. So anyways, stay tuned and we'll hope that they work out, because macarons can be very temperamental. But I've made them before and it turned out okay, but I have a different oven now, so hopefully they're perfect. Let's get cooking. So I dug out everything I'm going to need to make sure I have everything in the ingredients list. The heavy whipping cream and chocolate chips for the filling, almond flour, powdered sugar and regular sugar, vanilla, salt. I gotta get my eggs cracked and separated because I only need the whites. My 2 food colorings. I think it'll be fine teal. When I think of robin eggs, I think of teal, not light blue, so maybe it's just where I live. Everything, so I'm gonna get everything moved out of my way, get the eggs separated, and start on mixing everything together, basically. First, we need to get the egg whites. And since I don't have any fancy tools, we're just gonna do it the old way with the egg shells. Just go back and forth until, whoops, never mind. This works too. Maybe the next one. Look, it has a little circle on it. I don't know what to do with the yolks. Does anyone know what to do with yolks? Because I never know what to do. Maybe I'll have scrambled eggs for lunch and add extra yolks in for more protein. I don't know. Come on. Don't be like this. There we go. And all the snot fell off. Okay. 2. Huh. Well, just having all sorts of luck, aren't I? It's not gonna work. Can't do anything right today. It's also early, my kid's at school. So I wanted to try to do something a little more complicated when I don't have to stop all the time. Okay, nope. We got 3 egg whites. I'm going to wash my hands and get started on the next set. Okay, next we're going to get the dry ingredients put together and get all the clumps out of it. So I need 1 cup of almond flour and powdered sugar. 1 cup of almond flour and 1 1/4 cups of powdered sugar. See what kind of mess I can make with the powdered sugar. Super fine almond flour. Oops. Good enough. I'm sure someone will tell me it needs to be perfect, but I am not a perfect person. A little bit more complicated than I like. Powdered sugar. course it is. All over the inside. Let's see what kind of mess I can make. Pop open. Come on. Just need a little bit of air. Make it go off the sides. There we go. 1 1/4 powdered sugar. I don't quite understand macarons and how they work because they don't have any like baking soda or baking powder or anything with them. And they still rise. It's from the eggs, right? Something about the egg whites when you cook the egg whites. I don't know. That's why I like recipes. I can't not do recipes. There's very few things I can do. I don't think there's any baking things I can do without recipes. I can do cooking without recipes, but baking, I think I'd have to really study up on how things work. 1 1/4. Whoops, I'm getting powdered sugar everywhere. Guess I'm going to be cleaning real quick. You make things more complicated than they need to be? Sure. If I had more space, I could just put these things in nice containers and make it all pretty. But I don't. I don't got extra space. I have no space. Make sure there's no clumps. Suppose I could use a sifter. I think I have a sifter, but I'm not quite sure where it is, and I don't feel like going to dig it out, so we're just going to do it this way. Make sure there's no big clumps. You can always use your hands. Clump it up. As long as your hands are dry. Don't use your hands if they're damp or wet. Dry. Just dry. Alright, well I'm going to clean up my powdered sugar and dig out my stand mixer. I dug out my lovely KitchenAid. Bright green, because that's what makes me happy. We add in, let's see, got the whisk attachment. Says egg whites. It's disgusting sounding, isn't it? And a pinch of salt. I'm just going to use table salt because it doesn't tell me what kind of salt to use. So I'm just using what I know, tried and true sort of thing. Lock it. We turn it on. Hopefully it turns on. Yay! Okay. When it becomes white and foamy, we add in the sugar. So I'll come back in a minute when it's white and foamy. Alright, we are foamy, so I'm going to add in the sugar. A little bit at a time. And I realized I don't need the vanilla. That's for the speckling, so I got that out of the way so I didn't accidentally add it now because it doesn't have vanilla in it. Macarons are weird. They have like nothing in them and they still make wonderful cookies. I don't get it. I don't have to get it, I guess. I accidentally got some sugar on the side. I'm gonna try to get that down a little bit. Okay. And now it says turn it on high and let it go for 15 minutes until it's hard, stiff peaks and shiny. So I don't think you need to watch that. I'll catch back with you when it's time for the next step. Alright, I think it is about to that point. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Try to get some of this teal in there. It's old, so it's really gelled up. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna have to clean it off the things first, I think. Well, I'm gonna turn it on high and see if I can't get it to mix up. Because it's stiff peaks, so it's stuck in the whisks. I don't have liquid, and no one around me sells this sort of stuff, so this is what I had from a long time ago. Alright, well, I'm gonna turn it up and see what happens. Yeah, it's not gonna work. We're gonna see if we can get some of this out of this thing. About breaking of that egg. Okay. This is why I don't like my stand mixer. It's actually easier for me for a hand mixer because you can stop it and work things out a little better. Okay. Okay, we're gonna see if that'll mix it up. Come on. Probably ruined it, but whatever. Okay, I'm gonna let it mix for a minute and we'll see what happens. So it sort of worked, sort of didn't, so I'm gonna get all the egg whites off my whisk, mix a little bit by hand, and then start the next step, which is adding in the flour to make the actual cookie dough stuff, whatever you want to call it. Hope I don't destroy the egg stuff. You know, you're not supposed to overwork it, but there's no really options right at this point. So I'm gonna sit and fight with this for a minute. It says using a rubber spatula, fold in the... I hate mixing bowls. Flour, powdered sugar. I so little space in my kitchen. Someday I'll have a kitchen that has counter space and I can do this sort of thing without just driving myself insane. So we're just supposed to gently fold it in. Gently fold in. I do half and then I'll put the other half in. Doesn't say to, but my experience with egg whites, you're not supposed to throw it all in at once. It makes it too heavy all of a sudden. So I could be totally wrong. I don't know. So when I get done, it's going to be a very thin mixture. I remember right from the one time that I had made macarons. And I'm also short. I can barely see what I'm doing. I'm short. Maybe it's because my counter space is on top of a washing machine. That also has something to do with it. Okay, mix and fold till it becomes smooth. I think it's the powdered sugar mixing in with the egg whites is making it melt down like that. Look. Okay, I'm going to keep mixing until I get the right consistency. Okay, I'm going to count this as good. It's as smooth as I'm going to get it. Because I probably should have sifted the flour and everything, but I didn't. I think it's a pretty color. It's a nice light tealish. I don't have a piping bag big enough, so I'm just going to stick it in a Ziploc and cut the corner off. And it doesn't say to. Just says baking sheet lined with parchment paper or a backing mat. Doesn't say to grease it, so I'm not going to. We'll figure it out. Struggle with me. Wait, that's probably why I always cook alone. I usually cook alone. I'm not cooking alone. Let's see if it stays or if I'm gonna just... Okay. Gonna get it into pastry bag, Ziploc, whatever you got. Because we're gonna pipe little... Supposed to get 24. We'll see if we actually get 24. I'll probably make them too big or I lost too much stuff or whatever. But as long as you have an even number at the end, that's the important thing, because it has to be an even number or you won't be able to make the macaron cookies. But if I made these more often, it wouldn't be such a cluster F, you know, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to set up my pans and then we'll pipe them onto it. Okay, I have it's not parchment paper, it's that reusable stuff, which is the same as the macaron mats that you can buy on like Amazon and stuff, so I think it'll be fine. And yeah, fill the piping bag. Leave a little space because we're gonna have to tap them down to spread it out and hope for the best, I guess. Oh no. This is one of the newer bags. It doesn't have the corner. What am I gonna do? Really? Can nothing work out today? I want to sleep. Okay. We're gonna see if that works. I think I made the hole way too big. Whatever. Whatever. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Okay. Hold tight, I'm gonna figure something else out. Okay, so most definitely I'm not getting 24 anymore. I barely got it in. I only have the tiny piping bags. But the Ziplocs don't work anymore apparently. I'm just gonna cut the end off. And hope for the best, because it's just what it is right now. Need a little 1 inch. Just gonna hope for an even number at this point. I don't gotta be perfect, so I'm gonna get these all piped out. The downfall of not knowing how big to make things is, pretty sure I made my first like 30 way too small. Because I don't know what the size, I don't know what inch is in my mind. My mind goes an inch. That's not very big. It's like, it's a lot bigger than you think it is. So, yeah, whatever. At this point, I just want to be done. You know, this is why I'm not a baker for a living. Oh my gosh, nothing works out today. It's okay, they're still going to taste just fine, even if there's some that are a little tiny. Because someday I'll have everything I need. Let's see. I think I have an even amount at least, so I'm going to have some bigger ones and a bunch of little tiny ones, which I still think it'll look cute. Just 1 second, I gotta wash my hand on. Next thing, you can make the little circles go down, but you also need to tap them a bit to make sure there's no air bubbles. Oh my god. I made all these little tiny ones. I hope they still like raise. I may have to take them off the pan before the bigger ones are done. See, they're touching. It's gonna be fine. And then you let them sit for an hour and dry off the tops, because that's the right size. That is not. I don't know what I was thinking. Whatever. I'll see you in about an hour and we'll kick them in the oven. Okay, it has been an hour. I'm going to hope that they do what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to rise a tiny, tiny bit and then get matte looking on top. I got my wooden spoon to prop the door open of my oven. I'm going to do 1 pan at a time. I'm going to start with 10 minutes. It says about 12 minutes, but I'm going to start with 10. Because I'm high altitude and my oven cooks weird sometimes. They should all be good except for the ones at the top there. But I'm going to start with the pan with the uniform sizes, then I'll go over here and cook it. But yeah, should have macaroons soon. Okay, they are out of the oven. My first little batch kind of got a little brown. You can't see it, but they're brown instead of bright blue. But this batch, look how pretty those are. Look at that. You can tell my oven cooks hotter on one side than the others, but I have some nice little pretty ones. I'm going to get them off the pan in a few minutes. I'm just going to leave them on the parchment paper and let them cool off and then keep going. We got to get the speckles on them and then make the filling. But I need to let them cool all the way, so it's probably going to be a couple hours for that. All right, I'm going to work on the filling. I got my heavy cream. It's a cup and a cup. It's a cup of heavy cream and a cup of chocolate chips. But I have my heavy cream heated up. Hopefully it's hot enough. And technically you're supposed to mix it until it turns into a filling of some kind. It always makes me nervous that you don't get it hot enough. But if you get it too hot, then the milk's going to curdle. You don't get it hot enough, it's not going to mix. And then I'm supposed to let it cool all the way, so I'm going to make it now. Let my my cookies, I got them all on one tray. It's about time to get the little speckles on them. Come on. I need a new pan at some point. This pan has seen better days. Keep on mixing until it comes together. All right, it is pretty well mixed. I'm gonna let it cool off and hopefully it sets up like it's supposed to. If not, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's okay. I'm gonna let these, my cookies are almost cool. So I can almost speckle them and then wait for this to cool. It says you can put it in like a bowl and put it in the fridge if it doesn't set up very quickly. So I might do that. Just so I can get this all done before my kid gets out of school. It's taking a lot longer than I thought, but it's a more complicated recipe, so it's to be expected. Smells pretty good though. Okay, I got some more. Nothing else, I can just drop them by using the brush. You're supposed to use vanilla extract and some brown. It says liquid. I don't have liquid, all I have is a gel, so it's a little more difficult to work with in some of these situations. That's okay. We work with what we got. Let's see if that works better. Whoops, that didn't work out, did it? It says to go against the twines and make it speckle. It's gonna take forever. It works. I don't know. I don't understand how they say to do it, so I'm going to sit here and play with it and figure it out. Because it's just, it says to go and brush it across the tines and flick it around. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. I don't understand. I think I'm just going to do it the hard, easy way. And flick it this way. Okay. You get the idea. Yeah, this is much easier. Okay, I'm going to play with this and we'll make them look pretty. Okay, well, it works. It's just a little bit more, not as easy as it seemed when you were reading it on the instructions, but this works better. It's using my fork and flicking it. They look pretty. Supposed to look like little robin eggs. I'm going to let them dry for a bit and then we'll get the filling in them because I think the filling still needs to cool a bit too. So we're almost done. I got my filling in a piping bag. Sticking up as much as it's going to. It's not as thick as I thought it was going to be. It's more like a pudding consistency, but what do I know? Oh yeah, I'm making a mess. I don't like it. I matched up all my cookies to get them the same sizes. And, oh my gosh, that was close. Yeah, this is not really as thick as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a frosting consistency, but whatever. Take your cookie. Pipe it on. You take your matching cookie and you squish it. Could probably put a little bit more than that. Let's try it again. I'm just making a mess with this. I wish I had one of the things that stops it coming out the top, but I do not. Okay. I don't understand. I'm not really sure I like this recipe. Nothing seems to be working out the way it's supposed to. Nice little cookie. I'm gonna clean up my mess and finish this so I can go faster without videoing it. I'll be right back. Alright, we have a plate full of Robin Egg Macarons. I don't really like the filling they gave me. Maybe I did something wrong, but I think I like more frosting consistency in my macarons, and this is more pudding fudge, so it's really messy. I don't want to tell you how big of a mess I made. That's why I turned the camera off. But I got them filled. It might set up a little bit more as it goes, but it's ice cold, so it's something that I did more than likely. But I'm still going to enjoy it, and they still look adorable. So if you just follow that and just use a regular frosting recipe, it would work just fine. This is literally, it's liquid. I did something wrong. I don't know. Me and Ganache, we've never worked out. I was hoping for it to be different this time. But anywho, they are very tasty and very, very sweet because the filling is literally cream and chocolate. Okay, well, thanks for joining me on my little adventure. If you like my video, you can toss me a like and subscribe. If not, I guess I'll catch you next time. Later!